What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to give you an overview and go over something that I've had for a little while now, and that is this DeWalt TStak 2.0 single drawer unit. Now, as you can see, the TStak units look very similar to the VersaStack units that I've done review videos in the past. If you want to learn more about that, I'll put a link in the description box down below to my previous Craftsman VersaStack videos, as well as up in the corner right now, but they're pretty much identical other than obviously the DeWalt name and the yellow color. Size-wise, they're exactly the same. Now, be aware that I did mention that it was called a TStak 2.0, and I believe the only difference between the 2.0 and the first version are these T-stack hinges. They're more robust. They have a middle pin inside. This is more what the 1.0 version looks like, all plastic, and as you could see, this came off of one of my Craftsman setups and it already broke. So that is a big upgrade, a very important one if you're going to be moving this thing in a van or a truck or anywhere like that for a mobile setup. So starting off with the outside, like I mentioned, you do have the DeWalt branding as well as the yellow DeWalt color. You do have this spot for a label. It says TStak. It is removable and you could kind of label it however you please. Now, opening up the drawer here, you're met with a very large drawer with all of these compartments here. You have 4 small ones and 2 big ones. Now, you can see that they open up and they're actually hinged right here, which is really great because that means you're able to open up these back ones. You should be able to open them up without actually taking them out because they are kind of blocked a little bit at the back here. Now, these containers are awesome, even if you're not going to use them in this drawer. I actually do not use them in this drawer, and I have taken them out and I actually put them and use them in the drawers of my garage toolbox for, small parts that I may, are just loose ends, things like that. It's really especially good for, things like silicone greases and stuff like that, stuff that it's helpful to have in a sealed container. I mean, it's not like watertight or airtight, obviously, but just something to keep it sealed in case there's a leak or something like that. So as you can see here, this is the single drawer setup without those compartments in it, and I will measure it right now. It is about 11 inches, just under 11 inches front to back, and it looks like it is about just under 14 inches width. So it's a pretty big drawer that you could fit a lot of different stuff into. Just to show you kind of what you could fit in here, here is my Craftsman impact driver with a 4 amp hour battery, not a 2 amp hour, and it fits right in very snugly, no problem. And let's see if I could also fit this hammer drill by Craftsman that I have, no problem at all. And then I also have these 2 drill bit and impact bit setups that I fit right in there, and there you go. Without any issue at all, it's closed and locked up. And to me, that's almost like a perfect setup if you have a couple drivers, impact drivers or whatever that you want to fit in there. Now, also, as you can see when I close it, you heard like a click. You can't just pull these out, okay? There is actually a handle underneath that you need to pull, and that engages or disengages the lock, and you roll it out on the ball bearing drawer slides that these have, which is really a very nice touch and gives a level of quality and premium feel to this that you don't see very often with things that are these units are actually very fairly priced, both TStak and VersaStack, but especially TStak. I think this unit is only about $38, which you start comparing this to some other stuff like Milwaukee Packout and stuff. It's a very good budget friendly setup for someone who's either just starting in some sort of trade, needs a mobile setup, or even just a DIY guy like myself. Now I could just show you the back as well. There's not much there, but I figured I'd show it to you anyway. You do have a pretty sturdy and robust plastic handle that folds down, and on the sides you do have where the latches go to have it set up with other TStak units as well as VersaStack units, because as I'm sure you're aware, TStak and VersaStack are almost identical and they are compatible with each other. So speaking of that right now, I can actually put on top my 2-drawer VersaStack setup. And as you can see, it is basically identical other than the color and the branding. Now obviously this has 2 drawers, which you can get the 2-drawer version in TStak, DeWalt TStak 2 drawer, but you cannot get the single drawer in Craftsman VersaStack. Why, I'm not really sure, but regardless, other than the color change, they are the exact same. You could see the labels on the outside, the same handles that you have to pull in order to disengage the lock on the ball bearing drawer slides, and there's that click. It's a really, really great system for a lot of different setups. So I'm actually in the middle of kind of redoing my mobile setup that I use for my boat. I was using this for quite a while for hand tools, and I had these dividers out so I could put my hand tools kind of vertically like this, but I kind of stopped using it for that. And I've had this just at home, so I'm still trying to figure out a use for this piece, but I've actually been using this piece for this pretty much the same reason, to hold big tools, and it works very, very well for that setup. Yeah, this is just an overall great setup. I talked about this in my previous review video of the double drawer unit by Craftsman, that I just find drawers to be much more usable than just like the open lid toolbox setup, because you could set it up for pretty much whatever you need it for. I mean, this single drawer setup is, as you can see, almost perfect for an impact and a drill, along with all of the bits that you may need for it, and it fits firmly into place. But you could also put these back in and use it for small stuff. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more Craftsman VersaStack and DeWalt TStak content, please hit that like button down below, and also consider subscribing. And other than that, if you have any questions about any of this stuff, would love to help in any way that I can. Drop a comment in the comment section down below, and I will see you next time.